Are you ready for some colouring magic?
I can't believe that I haven't ink blended a layered floral stencil in rainbow colours before, and now I can see why people get addicted. So I thought I'd start by looking at the actual finished design and seeing where the highlights and where the darker portions were, because I was thinking I want to create the darker portions of the flowers in the darker colours. So hence that's why I've started with the blues and the purples. Now I wasn't really sure how the rainbow would work on a layering design such as this, so I kind of stuck with what I've used in the past, or the techniques of creating rainbow designs that I've used in the past, where I've typically just created lines of the colour and then blended them together in between each of the lines of colour. And if you've never done rainbow designs before, they're actually not that hard, because you just start with the same basic colours each time, and by joining the colours where you ink blend them together will give you a blend of usually like a new colour. So things like the yellow and the pink, when you join these together, they're going to give you an orange in between. So it creates that beautiful spectrum of rainbow colours. Now, they don't have to be bright colours. You can choose any sort of different hues and amounts of the colour to suit whatever design that you're doing. But doing these stripes, I wasn't really sure how that was going to work with a floral design. And I'll give you the heads up, it works really well. So I did focus on the darker colours where I knew the deeper shades and the shading were in this flower, but you could certainly mix it up to suit whatever layering design that you've got. Now I'm going to do a couple of cards today, and the second design I'm going to step it up a little bit, so stick around because I have got a bonus hack to share with you for embossing folders. So the layers of this stencil, they are a little bit different on each of the stencil sheets because you get a lot of different layers. So they've made the stencils work to give you the best design for the flowers. So this particular stencil here has the flower separated into two, so you can't blend both flowers at once. There are instructions on the packet, and if you look closely at the stencils, they are numbered, so you can see the number of which stencil to use next. But there's also, if they're a separate flower or a bloom, there is a line between them. But as you can see here, some of these stencils work all together as one, like they will sit perfectly over top. I did blend, and I did use post-it notes to mask off certain sections and also to protect the background, because I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing with this final design. I was just playing with my ink blending and all the different colors, and as I layered up all of these stencils, I brought in either the same color a second time and just used it in a deeper amount of color, or I went to the next color in the family of colors. Because these inks come in families of colors, it just made it so much easier. I didn't have to try and sort through my inks and guess which one to use next. Don't be afraid to come in with a really deep color for your final shadows, because that's what's going to help give your image depth. And I don't just mean this for rainbows, I mean it for any of the ink blending designs or any of the ink blending stencils you might have. And remember that as your inks dry, because they're dye inks, they dry into the cardstock or into the paper, they will lighten off a little bit. So don't be afraid to go for a slightly darker color than you think you might need. But if you're not game, start lighter, because you can always re-ink blend over top with the same layering stencil. And I didn't realize just how big this design was initially. I have colored it before, but it was a while ago, before this was released, and I would have liked to have actually colored the whole of this bloom on one piece of cardstock, but I cut my paper too short. But I did fix that up for the second, when I did the second design. I decided, rather than leave this as like a panel, I did think about doing that. I thought I'd step this card up a little bit by fussy cutting around the edges. Now, this wasn't hard to do. When it is such a big image, you do need to take your time, because cutting away some of that excess cardstock can make it easier for you to manipulate the paper and get a better finish on the edge. You can cut this up to the very edge of the flower as well, but when you're fussy cutting, it is easier, I find, to leave that small white border around the edge. You don't have to be so perfect. And it looks like you've cut it with a die, even though you haven't. Next, I thought I'd line this up on a panel, and rather than using it as one, I decided to cut it in half with my paper trimmer, and that's going to separate the two blooms and give this bouquet a very different look. The other thing is, I did blend on 80-pound cardstock because I find that the ink blending for me is easier on a lighter weight. So I always come in with some scrap cardstock, and if it's a die cut, add a second layer behind it to give it some stability for when I pop up the design. Now, this obviously is a little bit too big for the panel that I've made for the front of my card, so I do snip away the edges by flipping the panel over and using a nice large pair of scissors to be able to cut that away with a clean and straight finish. Or you could even use like a paper trimmer to cut it away if you've got one that will work with like a popped up layer on top of the panel. I'm never game to try that myself. I hate to waste little bits of my image, so I thought it'd be nice just to use one of these leaves rather than throw it away to fill that bit of a gap, and I did adhere that directly to the back of the panel. Now, I've popped my panel up with some fun foam, and I've used some strong double-sided tape as well as a little bit of liquid glue there. And I had a couple of sentiments that I already made. I've been making bulk sentiments lately to make life easier, and I thought these sentiments that I've got are perfect for like this rainbow color palette today, as well as these rhinestones, because they're like a mother of pearl, so they pick up all the different colors. They work really well with any sort of background color because they have all those. They pick up all the purples and the pinks and everything, and they're really pretty. They catch the light. Obviously, there's a little bit of dimension in this design too. I'm on to my second card now, and I said I was going to step this up. And my first way is to start with some coloured cardstock in the background instead of white cardstock. You do need to be aware that when you're adding ink to coloured cardstock, it's going to change the finished look. And I found that I did need to add quite a bit more ink to this design. And when it comes to choosing colours for your rainbow, you actually really can get away with just using 3. If you like, you can use just red, yellow and blue. Because if you join red and yellow, you get the orange. Yellow and blue will give you a green, and blue and red will give you a purple. But you can also add these ink colours if you already have them in between. The best thing too is that you can use any different hues to create your rainbow. You can have pastel rainbows to bright, and you can use any number of these. And if you're not sure what's going to blend together and play nicely when you do, you can always check on a colour wheel, or just grab a scrap piece of paper and give it a try. You just don't want that muddy brown colour in the end. And I want to step this up yet again. I thought it would be fun to add some texture to this whole panel. I'm going to leave this as 1 this time. And I wanted to use the organic linen folder, the embossing folder, but was afraid it might be just too much texture. So I thought I'd give this burlap style better press plate a try, just to see what it was going to look like. And I've done this with the actual cardstock and the ink, and that's going to give me, this is like the scrap edge of the paper, and I'm going to know exactly what it's going to look like, so there's no guessing. So when it came to doing the embossing folder, I knew I didn't want that real 3D look here, so I did remove the thin shim that I'd normally use with the new embossing folders, and it did give less of an impression, but it's still got so much dimension. I think the burlap one wasn't enough. I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are on that. But what I decided to do was actually hack the embossing folder design, and I did this by running it through the embossing folder without the extra shim. Depending on your machine, you might be able to get less of impression by removing extra shims. But here's my hack. I've got a Teflon bone folder here, and I'm literally just adding pressure over the whole design, and that's just pushing the fibers of the paper flat, a little bit flatter again, and getting rid of a bit of that texture, but still leaving more than if I had have just used that burlap one. Now, the great thing about the Teflon bone folders is that they don't leave a shine on the cardstock when you are pressing against the paper. If you don't have a Teflon bone folder, then you can always put a piece of copy paper between your bone folder and the cardstock and add a bit of pressure that way, so you don't end up with that sort of shiny card finish. Now, I did keep this panel as a whole, but stepped it up one more time by adding some ink splatters, and I used the sentiment from the same set that I had on the first card. I just thought the word sweet works really well for me when it comes to rainbows. And I think they're such a happy colour palette. They make great birthday cards or anniversaries or congratulations. Can be used for so many different occasions. I can't believe I haven't ink blended a layered floral rainbow design before. I'm addicted. I think you're going to see more of them from me very soon. And I've got both designs together now, starting with the first, where we stepped it up by fussy cutting around the edge and popping up multiple layers within the card panel. And the second design, which we stepped up using that embossing folder hack, adding dimension with a little squish. Let me know which one's your favorite today, and if you're going to try either of these techniques, I've got 2 more videos here for you to enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you there. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? It's totally free. Until next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.